Do you remember the first time we met, Tyrone?
It was probably one of the tours out in Hawaii. One of the music tours. I was out there with Christopher.
Okay,
Yeah.
so I don't remember exactly the beginning. A lot of the um, concerts or whatever are kind of foggy. I do remember one night sleeping in the same attic with you and Obi
Oh
talking
gosh.
about talking about marriage like all night long. I don't remember where that was. I remember it was really uncomfortable
Hmm.
and it was not as glamorous as a lot of people would probably think it might be. So Tyrone had played with Christopher for quite a while. He subbed in with Andy Grammer, one of my kids' coolest experience. So they know Tyrone as Uncle Tyrone. And just a couple of years ago, we were watching the Thanksgiving uh, Detroit Lions
Oh yeah.
football game on, and then Andy Grammer is playing halftime, and who's on stage? It's Tyrone and his brother playing, and my kids paused it and freaked out for a little bit and took pictures with the TV. Who are you playing with now, Tyrone?
With a few people. The busiest one is Sammy J. So Polynesian style reggae coming out of New Zealand, but based in LA.
All right.
Yeah.
So we're talking about this contrast that that's being built in James about people who doubt and don't believe being like those who are blown around by the wind and the waves. And so, who wants to go first? Dad, why don't you start with your apparent story?
I wanted to get out in the ocean in Kauai really bad. So I asked RJ, and he goes, "Yeah, it's not bad out there. Get your gear on and come on out." So I did. I got my all my gear on and my spearfishing gun, and I jumped in the ocean. And immediately, as I'm trying to get out away from the shore, I'm just getting tossed like this, just all over the place. And I got out about 50 to 75 yards, and I thought it'll be a little bit better. But I'm starting here and going there, and then I'm over here. And I mean, it was terrifying. And when I'm up on the top of a wave, I would look, and sometimes I would see RJ or one of their friends, and they just seem like they're just out having a great time. And I'm like, I've got to learn this. I've got to master this. But I kept fighting it. Probably only 15 minutes later, I was exhausted. So I thought, I'm going back in. I couldn't make it in. Every time I start going in, I'd get like that. I'd start going in and I'd just get thrown back. I did that for about 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and I thought, I'm going to die. And the next thing I know, I see RJ coming alongside and pointing. So he had me grab his cable and he pulled me into the bank like it was nothing.
For those of you who know Hawaii at all, that's he's talking about where Barking Sands meets the Nepali coast. So it's quite a crazy place to dive. Um, but in my defense, I didn't take him on a mile swim. I mean, we were barely off of the beach. I don't know what the big deal was. Now, in Tyrone's case, I do remember that we took quite a swim. He was in such great shape, and I thought, and he has a little bit of spearfishing experience, so we did go for quite a swim. That was on the north shore of Oahu, Tyrone.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We like you said, I'd been fishing a little bit before, spearfishing before. Um, Grew up going swimming in the Pacific. Like grew up swimming at my grandma's house in Monterey. So dark, cold water with kelp, all that's familiar to me. I thought, all right, what's the worst that can happen, right? So we're out there as we start. Of course, it's sunny, bright, clear water, just crystal clear, having a great time. Looking for just some small fish, just kind of getting my bearings. And RJ says like, all right, let's go get some real fish. So okay, follow him out there. We're swimming, we're swimming. He takes a couple dives down, and I could still see like his fins. He goes so far down, you can see his fins from the top, and I'm just impressed. Like, wow, that's crazy. He comes back up and he's like, you know what? There's not much here. And I had since caught a few fish, so I got some kind of toggled on my hip. Um, he's like, let's go out a little farther. I'm not really catching anything. He just says, all right, follow me. So, all right, no problem. I can swim. I got fins on. I got a mask. I'm good. He starts pushing out, And I watch, and his fins are just getting smaller and smaller and smaller. And I notice he's just pulling away from me. At the same time he's pulling away from me, of course, sunshine goes away, complete cloud coverage, starts to sprinkle. Water probably was a little chilly that day, I mean, for Hawaii, but it wasn't bad. Um, so I'm trying to keep up. I noticed that he's taking some dives, and he's coming up, and I'm still not able to catch him. So eventually, he just disappears into the abyss, and I'm out there. I remember the last thing he said was, I had a knife on me because a lot of times when you're out there, sharks will come and tax your fish. Um, so I have that on my mind. He says, you know, you got your knife in case you see a shark. All right, cool, I'm good. And before we went out, he said he pointed out a section. You probably don't remember this. He pointed out this little peninsula, real small peninsula. Said like, if anything, try not to get caught over there. Like, try not to let the waves get you stuck over there. So I got that in my mind. I got sharks in my mind, and I don't see my friend at all. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go to the shore. Like, I've had my fun. This is the time for me to, like, you know, call it. So I try to pop my head up and see where I'm at, and the waves have picked up and the wind has picked up. So every time I pop my head up, I glance a little bit of land, but I wasn't sure if that's the shore we came out of or that peninsula, that do not go or you die area. So I'm seeing these two places completely disoriented. I had a real freak out moment, and I remember the anxiety, and it was crazy because I knew how to swim. I was familiar with the ocean. But when you're in a foreign place, you just feel like so brand new. So I remember looking down, the water was deep, cloudy, see all this big black volcanic rock on the ground. Um, and and I remember just thinking, okay, this is it. Like, this is either how I go, or someone's gonna have to rescue me, or you're gonna see me on the news or something. So, you know, when you're out in the water, you panic. The pressure from the ocean is already on your chest. You're breathing through a little hose. Um, so all that, I'm thinking about all the worst scenarios. And I remember having a moment of just kind of relaxing myself and thinking, like, I have everything I need to survive. Like, I'm gonna be okay. Like, God didn't bring me out here to die. I remember I had my knife. I can breathe. So I started slowing my breathing down, started to see sand, and saw the ripples in the current on the sand. So followed those into the shore. Popped out probably like 200 yards from where you were. But yeah, I made it out alive, but freaked me out.
It was probably a year after that story when you actually told me. And I remember you were telling someone else that story, and I thought, I don't think he's telling the right story. Thanks so much, guys, for joining us. We'll see you. Love you guys.
Bye.